My name is Alexander Kouts, and I'm the CEO and founder of Indigov. I am a serial tech entrepreneur, so I've been spending my entire career building and scaling tech companies and tech teams. And so I'm here to give you some tips and tricks on what may work best when you're building your communication strategy for your office. The number one tip I can give you for the place to start, first day, is set meaningful metrics for your office. What are the things that we can optimize against or that we are aiming for as a team collectively that will ensure that we are successful in engaging our constituents, increasing name ID, and building a meaningful relationship with the people that we serve? Now, what do good metrics look like and what do bad metrics look like? Often in a lot of offices, I'll hear horrifying things where people will say things like, we're just going to send out one $4.99 mailer to every single constituent over the course of a month. That's a really bad goal. Now, why is that a bad goal? That's a bad goal because we can't measure it. It doesn't have a direct metric associated with it so that we know when it's done, we will have actually been successful. And so what we want to do is pick initiatives and metrics that we can actually achieve. And we'll say we won when we do this at the end of the month. And so what does a good metric look like? Well, one could be email list growth, but that's not good in and of itself. In order to make that a good metric for opted-in newsletter signups, we need to layer on top of that things like open rates for emails on average. A good open rate for a congressional office is somewhere north of 20%, upwards of 30 or 35%. Now, as a pro tip, offices are typically able to achieve that when they are regularly surveying their constituents and asking them for their opinions. A tip I got years ago from a former Speaker of the House was that when we are on the campaign side, we are selling. When we get into office, we are telling, and it makes it a lot harder to engage constituents when we are telling. And so surveys are a great way to meaningfully engage them, ask them what they care about, integrate that information into future communications, and build an implicit expectation of engagement with the content that we send out. So strong recommendation for surveying constituents. Now, once you have metrics, you have to pick a strategy for how you're actually going to meaningfully engage those folks. Now, a bad strategy, as an example, would be to blast every single constituent that you have information for every single week. That tends to be really bad. Offices that do that, we see have an enormous amount of unsubscribes and a very low level of engagement in campaigns longitudinally. They also tend to alienate constituents by overburdening their inbox with too much stuff. We all get a lot of email communication these days. We want to keep it to the absolute minimum. It's going to have the absolute maximum output for the office. And so one of the things we recommend is creating very micro-targeted campaigns for people that you're trying to engage. Segment your constituent base using data from Indigov for female veterans that live inside this area, and then build a subject line and an email campaign and content specific to them that is likely to be relevant to them. The ultimate zenith, the apogee, the best place most companies will ever get with marketing is custom list segmentation at scale. You have all the data available for you to do this. We recommend that you do it. Big blast email campaigns bad, micro targeting good. Now, number three, the goal is to build a framework to execute your strategy. So we create the goals, then we create a strategy to execute them, then a framework to make sure that that actually happens. So the wrong approach is no framework, just letting offices kind of do it however they want to do it, or staff trying to figure it out on their own. The right approach, as an example, for many offices is to create what's called a content calendar. And so we are looking at an actual calendar on a regular basis. We are planning out our social media posts, our email campaigns, our outreach, our surveying, our telephone town halls, all weeks in advance. That doesn't mean we have to write the content weeks in advance because we have to be reactive to the schedule, but we are planning out that we will make a post. And so that gives the staff the ability to create a backlog of content, so to speak, that they can send out. Microsoft Teams has a lot of really great tools for you to plan these things, Kanban boards, project management software. There are also other tools that are approved for the house to use. We strongly recommend you leverage those. And if you have any questions, reach out to an Indigov team member who can recommend tools outside of our platform that may actually be helpful for you doing this. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Our passion at Indigov is making sure that offices are as successful as they can possibly be, reaching and engaging their constituents in meaningful ways. We are on a religious mission to make sure that you're using the right metrics and the right strategies to keep your team in the best place they can be to be as successful as they possibly can. If we can be helpful in any way, please reach out to us. Even if you don't end up using our platform, we are big fans of you, and we are here to help.